Hey, welcome back everyone for some more Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, and we are ready to begin day 1 of the trial in the case against Mayor Damien Tenma. But before we continue on, hope you guys have an awesome day today, hope you guys doing well. It took us 3 episodes to finish day 1 of the investigation, and we got a pretty decent idea of what's going on here, though there's still some questions that need to be answered, though I highly doubt we'll be able to answer most of those after day 1 of the trial, but we'll see what happens. So without further ado, April 18th, 9:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. You okay, Athena? You've been really antsy ever since you got here. I'm just excited. This is my first real court case after all. Yeah, a real ball of excitement she is. I know just what she needs. Athena! Eek! Didn't you ever learn about indoor and outdoor voices? I'm just trying to show you the best way to relieve your pre-child jitters. By scaring the daylights out of me? No, I find that shouting "I'm fine" in a loud voice really relieves stress. It's part of my Chords of Steel voice workout and must be for every child. You want me to shout? Here? That's right. Here, I'll go first, then you try. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Alright, I'm Athena Sykes, and I'm fine. I think that actually worked. I thought it might help. Always works for me. An old friend of mine from junior high and I say it all the time. I see. A proven remedy to calm the soul. I like it. Hey, how about we finish off with a race around the courthouse? The point is to release stress, not get totally exhausted. What's with all the racket, you two? Ah, Mr. Ray. Just a little voice workout. Hey, what's with the suit? Oh, this? I was thinking about getting my attorney's badge back, that's all. That's all? That's huge news. But why now? I have a feeling I'll be needed in the courtroom again sometime soon. But we can talk about that another time. No fair. Inquiring minds want to know. But wow. I'm so used to him in his usual laid-back clothes. That suit makes him look like $1 million. By the way, have you heard about the prosecutor assigned this case? Yeah, he's serving time, but before that he was a prosecutor. He also uses psychology? That's right, I've heard the rumors about how he was back before his conviction. Using the power of suggestion, he could make even the most stalwart defendants confess. Psychology in the courtroom, been hearing a lot about that lately. So, he must be a pretty scary guy, considering he's a prison inmate and all. So they say. They also say he'll cut you down if you talk too much. Ah, I knew he was going to be bad news. It's probably just hyperbole. At least I hope for your sake. Wait, so is it true or not? Let's just say you should be concise and choose your words carefully. If you'd like to keep that head of yours attached to the rest of your body, that is. Yikes! Better tone down my Chords of Steel too. So, are you all ready? It might be a good idea to check the court record again before stepping into the ring. Right, Mr. Wright, but I'm fine. I'll be watching from the gallery. Good luck. Thanks. Okay, let's do this. The odds of pulling this off are ridiculously low, but that's nothing new. Believe in our client, seek the truth, that's all we can do. Hang in there, Mayor Tenma. Here comes justice. April 18th, 9:30 a.m. District Court, Courtroom number 4. Day 1, Court is now in session. All rise. Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. I'd know that big booming voice anywhere, as chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you? I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner and fresh out of law school. Well now, full beans too, eh? Excellent, makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. Appears prosecution is not ready yet. Never fear, for I shall explain. It's just a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot he was currently serving time.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate. But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
Who's that with his back to us over there? That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell. Is prosecution ready? Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. Ah, of course. Forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well. Prosecutor Blackwell, your opening statement if you please. Ah! What's the matter? Must we continue to fritter away time like this? It is all right there in the indictment, and an opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Well... It's like the cat, or in this case, the prosecutor has the judge's tongue. But, we need an opening statement as no view of the case at hand. Well then, your baldness, if it's so very important, why don't you do the honors? Who, me? There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things, and then decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool. Huh? Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren, or the great-grandchildren. All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace. What? He actually fell for that? That must have been a power suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one, Rex Kilby, Alderman of Nine-Tailsville, and the defendant, Damien Tenma, Mayor of Tenma-town, is accused of his murder. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Oh, flattery gets you everywhere. He's playing Simon Says with the judge. Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell here. I also heard you would like to provide protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Blackwell here. Fulbright, save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's so oblivious. Now, let's hear your first statement, Detective Fulbright. You got it, but first I'd like to say to the defense that justice will ultimately prevail. Witness testimony about the murder. Alderman Kyubi was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Tenma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kyubi was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Tenma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim alive, and he grabbed the statue and struck back. Alderman Kyubi had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug? That's right, the accused was scared because the Alderman was a former pro wrestler, so he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Kyubi's autopsy report added the court record. Cause of death, stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. And the victim managed to attack his attacker despite being impaled by a spear? That sounds almost superhuman. Is it even possible? Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the Alderman had been a pro wrestler. Do you really expect us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear? Never heard of the incredible feats of which man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared, for now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, and my name isn't Fulbright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence. Wouldn't you agree, Your Baldness? The defendant is sounding guilty about a minute. He has the judge leaning towards a guilty verdict, and the trial's just barely begun. What's more, a curious rumor about accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger for the purpose of freeing Tenma Taro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwoods burg. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the Alderman. That mayor's a strange one, alright. I heard he went to a blood drive, but instead of donating, he tried to make a withdrawal. Oh god. Order! There will be no gossiping in my court. Your Baldness, please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenma Taro. Then again... Oh. Perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold. The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. Eat!
Hold it!
The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Whew, thanks for that lifeline, Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has the judge dancing in the palm of his hand. The power of suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impressions to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. In any case, it seems the victim did manage to defend himself despite being impaled. What sort of weapon did he use against his attacker? None other than the statue right here. It appears to be a statue of two strange creatures locked in battle. Two yokai to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox, and on the other, Tenma Taro. Quite interesting if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered inert. Fox and Demon statue updated in the court record. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor. The mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted. Mr. Justice, you may proceed to cross-examination. And like with all cross-examinations, we are going to go ahead and save. Okay, cross-examination. About the murder. Alderman Kirby was murdered with a spear. Fingerprints of the defendant were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kirby was asleep from the drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Timmer attacked his victim like a human shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake and he grabbed the statue. Well, that statement right there is contradictory because he even said out of his own mouth that it was the Fox and Demon statue that was the
Objection!
weapon. Did the Alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the Alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him, but the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. It would appear the defense has a counter-argument. Very well, let's hear what the defense thinks is odd about attack the statue theory. Well, there are no fingerprints. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence, and if you look at the crime scene photo, you notice that the Alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he was quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, you did take that into account during the investigation, didn't you? This can't be happening. Did I arrest the wrong man? You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the Alderman? Well, if it wasn't the Alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the Fox chamber? Exactly, and this could be the big break we've been looking for. There does seem to be a hole in the prosecution's argument. Prosecutor Blackwell, would you care to explain the defense's assertion? The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono. Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackwell. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackwell. There's a perfectly good explanation for lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on the cloth? Solve that riddle and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Now let's see, how was that cloth used? Was it used by Kirby as a head covering to wipe blood or to wrap the statue? Or more likely it's gonna be to wrap the statue. Maybe the Alderman wrapped the statue in the cloth. In short, he wasn't touching the statue directly when he used to strike back the mayor. Precisely. Bully for you, boy. That was nothing. Apollo, don't let him start manipulating you, too. You just closed a hole for the prosecution. I did? I did. Right. That statue wrapped in cloth would leave no fingerprints as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory on the Alderman striking back. Oops. Fox and Demon statue updated in the court record. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor, wrapped in a large cloth. 2 pages. Now, do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it this time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Samurai? Sounds more like a homicidal maniac to me. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? It would seem that the victim and his killer were the ones there after all. I was kinda attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone under the ottoman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you evidence, alright. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor of that statue. Is the defense actually suggesting some sort of monster killed the alderman? That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Ah! Sorry. Guess I got carried away. Mr. Justice, we've no time to deal with objections between members of the defense. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just, this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch. You meanie! I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. So is this court to believe the feathers and tracks are from a yokai as you put it? No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the alderman. Interesting. And why do you suppose the killer would do that? Why indeed? Mr. Justice, you seem as new to this as your partner is. Ouch. This I'm not reporting to Mr. Ray. Hoy, fool break. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind these feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Very well. Let's hear about the so-called yokai feathers and tracks. Witness testimony. Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Tenma panicked when the Amazing Nine-Tails helped him board the protesters, so he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted to make it look like a yokai was the killer. Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears? Absolutely, he knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea the alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Tenma Taro, that is. Tenma who? Tenma Taro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, villagers are taught to fear the great black feather demon, and thus were they blinded to the other, more plausible explanations.
Hold it!
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor, and as part of this event, there was someone dressed in likeness of Tenma Taro. Obviously, this person is much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dollard, you're playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believed the murder to be the work of the real Tenma Taro. However, the police believe that the person in Tenma Taro's suit is the killer. Ah! The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman. And thus, our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tenma would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself, Fulbright. Right. It was the mayor's last-ditch effort to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Nine-Tails is fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and the hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. But do the people in Nine-Tailsville really believe a yokai is behind the crime? Yokai sightings are an everyday event there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I must say, a crime that preys upon innocent impressionable minds. Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. You don't say. Was this inmate a con artist? No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey? Yes, well, now the defense may proceed with a cross-examination. And before every cross-examination, we go ahead and save. Cross-examination. Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition in a municipal merger. The mayor panicked when Nine Tails hopped on board in the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. Strange feathers and track he planned to make it look like a yokai was the killer. We're gonna press.
Hold it!
But it doesn't add up. If what you say is true, why top it off with murder? What do you mean? You claim that our client planted the yokai evidence to stoke the villagers' fears. If so, then why not stop there? Why murder Alderman Kyubi? Excellent point. It is, isn't it? So, Your Honor agrees there was no reason for the murder, correct?
Objection!
Perhaps the killing was on the spur of the moment. You're saying it wasn't premeditated? From the outset, I had no intention of paying heed to any of your babble. However, the fact is, the mayor made a startling discovery. A startling discovery? Why don't I like the sound of that? Alderman Kyubi's secret identity. Apollo, I think Prosecutor Blackwell has figured out the Alderman's secret identity. But even if he has, why would it be a motive for the mayor to commit murder? This is not good. This patch of fur was discovered at the crime scene. It's from the mask worn by the amazing Ninetales. Therefore, we conclude that this mask was at the crime scene. Oh my, but why would it have been there? The victim was a former pro wrestler and a member of the anti-merger movement. Need I say more? Could it really be? Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Our victim, Rex Kyubi, was the amazing Ninetales. And the mayor's discovery of this fact was his motive for murder. No! Uh-oh. Order! Order! What a shocking development. A motive clearer than crystal clear. What do we do now, Apollo? I didn't think they'd tie the Alderman's secret identity to the mayor's motive for murder. At last, we reach my real point. Why did the Alderman have to forge a secret identity? Does it not pique your interest, your baldness? I admit it does. It is odd that he had to create this other persona. Just to secretly participate in the anti-merger movement. Very astute of you, your baldness. Right, now take a look at this. Blackmail letter. If you value your dearest life, you will merge Ninetale Vales with Tenma Town. Do not tell anyone about this threat. If you do, consider your dearest as good as dead. If you value... This blackmail letter was found in Alderman Kyubi's pocket. What? At present, the Alderman's wife is in the hospital. And that letter is clear evidence the mayor is blackmailing him by threatening her life. Wait, did the blackmail letter sent to Tenma go missing? Right after the Alderman's murder? You think maybe the killer took the letter from the mayor after the murder and planted it into the Alderman's pocket? It's possible, but we don't have any proof that that's what happened. Talk about being up the creek without a paddle. Blackmail letter added to the court record, a threatening letter discovered in one of Alderman Kyubi's pockets. Mayor Tenma would have made a clean getaway if he just left after planting the yokai things, but he was knocked out cold by a sudden decision to kill the amazing Ninetales. So, it was the amazing Ninetales counterattack that brought the entire crime to light. Wait a sec. Fulbright's claiming that the mayor killed the Alderman after planting the yokai evidence, and that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that? Detective Fulbright, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Mayor Tenma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. Well, see what he has to say about this.
Objection!
Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair. What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. This is the crime scene photo, and just what does this prove? It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you, they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear the feathers and tracks were left at the scene. Okay. What about...
Take that!
Aren't you just pointing yokai feathers and tracks, Mr. Justice? Yes, see how the feathers are on top of the blood and the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself, the mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else beside the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah, there must be some mistake. Order! Order! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? He's taking this really hard. Mr. Justice, what is this testimony regarding a third party they claim to have? I have it right here, Your Honor. It's the sworn testimony of Mr. Tenma's daughter. The witness, Jixie Tenma, saw a yokai in the hallway after stumbling upon the scene. It was the demon Tenma Taro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Will somebody please say something? The French will explain to the court exactly what he means. You dare to mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy. Your baldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion. Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out. Very well, Mr. Justice, I'm all ears, but you had better explain yourself well, what was this yokai you were talking about? It's all in the statement here. Jixie Tenma asserts that she saw Tenma Taro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around a corner in the hall. It was around here that she saw Tenma Taro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. What? How incredibly unjust. Why haven't I heard about this before? The defense just proved there was someone else, so the mayor isn't the killer? Was it all a setup? The prosecutor is a convicted felon after all. Apollo, the momentum's shifted in her favor. Good, now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool and that fop would have seen him. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle? Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time. But they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Why didn't these two see the Tenmataro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. Defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I suppose we can't ignore the fact that the little girl believes she saw a monster. I trust you have no objections to Mr. Justice's request, Prosecutor Blackwell. I understand that Mr. Filch is enjoying a nap out in the lobby. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find, but when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just did he say captured? No, wait, I don't want to know. Very well then. Bailiff, please go wake Mr. Filch and escort him to witness stand. Will the witness state his name and occupation, please? The name's Filch, Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. A little something I thought you might like. Oh my, what a fabulous pair of shoes. And your honor will do just fine, Mr. Filch. Ah, it's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Fitz stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sir. What? But they seem awfully expensive. Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like your honorship. It's a kind gesture, but legal ethics dictate I cannot accept such gifts. Ethics, methics, just take them if you want them. Polish them up for you real nice, too. I'm sorry about the shoes, Mr. Filch, but I will accept your testimony. The court would like to hear whether you saw Tenmataro in the foyer after the murder. And with that, we are going to go ahead and stop here. Next time I see you guys, we are going to be hearing Phineas Filch's testimony in this case, so... But until then, thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far, and I'll be seeing you guys again next time.